Miranda Foster, 32, is a Chicago marketing executive. Last month, I received a text from my mother that altered everything. We changed the front door locks and gate code. No longer trusted you. I gazed at my phone, surprised I'd always been. This was different. They gave her the mansion despite my being second best to Brittany. Paying the $5,600 monthly mortgage for 2 years as reality hit, I replied. Understood. Very smart, but I think you overlooked one thing. As I dive. Growing up. I'd love to know where you're watching today. Drop your location in the comments. Comments below if you appreciate this story, like it and subscribe for more. About standing up for yourself. Let's discuss how my family's betrayal caused the most difficult and last freeing decision of my life. Growing up in our 4-bedroom Oakwood Hills suburban home was. Our family has an implicit hierarchy. My parents, Gregory and Diane Foster, never veiled their love for my younger sister Brittany. The pattern was set early. Throughout our lives, Brittany's birthdays were lavish gatherings with dozens of guests. My family held family dinners and personalized cakes and gifts. Store-bought cake and useful gifts like clothes or school supplies when I took home straight A's. My achievement would be acknowledged with a nod and possibly a nice job when Brittany got a B in arithmetic. After Brittany needs more encouragement, my mother would celebrate and reward her CS struggles. Miranda, you're inherently gifted. You don't require the same amount of support. By high school, I accepted my family role and worked on the high school studies and creating my future, knowing home validation would always be restricted. Brittany became the family princess, lovely yet sloppy with money and prone to life disasters like my parents. Quick resolution. 3 years ago my grandparents died within months. They left our family home to the family rather than my parents. It was meant to be a joint legacy, yet we kept our living arrangements. My grandparents had always witnessed the inequality in my treatment and believed this was their sneaky method of ensuring I got my fair share. I focused on marketing after college and worked hard to climb the corporate ladder. While Brittany worked several jobs, leaving when they become too hard. She married Jeremy, an attractive but disturbed man who shared her opinion that they deserved more than they worked for. My parents faced foreclosure 2 years ago. Financial mismanagement helped Brittany escape debt frequently, and my father's economic troubles let them fall behind $5,600 monthly family home mortgage payments when they sadly recounted their circumstances during a Sunday dinner. I promised to help despite our tangled history. Couldn't imagine losing our family home, where my grandparents and a few nice memories were. I said, I can take over the mortgage payments until you get back on your feet. The relief on their faces were immediate but lacked gratitude. Expecting this from me all along, the responsible daughter who would cure their problems to pay my bills. Before my condo purchase, I cut back on meals out and I cut back vacations. I did consulting on weekends. The financial pressure was heavy, but I told myself otherwise. Temporary yet worth it to retain our family home. Every Sunday I still drive to my parents' house for family supper with Brittany and Jeremy. The dynamics never changed. Brittany's recent scandal dominated the conversation while my work achievements mainly ignored. My dearest buddy Samantha didn't comprehend my dedication. Miranda said over our conversation, they're taking advantage of you. Thursday coffee dates. You're paying a mortgage on a place you don't live in and they treat you like an ATM. Legs. My boyfriend Daniel was more subtle but shared similar concerns. I just wanted you to know I appreciated you. He held me close after family dinners. Emotionally exhausted, I kept paying, telling myself family obligations trumped fairness. The house was worth saving. The home was worth saving. Even though my role as savior went unacknowledged in recent months, I noticed minor familial changes. Dynamics. My parents had more private chats that stopped when I entered. Brittany was visiting more and disappearing with my mother to discuss things they didn't want me to hear. I ignored these issues to retain tranquility and my financial stability. Support. I never thought a text message would stop my commitment to our family legacy. Telling me I was no longer welcome in the home I was paying for. Family ties are complicated. My life was going to change the last Sunday dinner. My arrival at 6 o'clock with a bottle of wine and a dessert appeared normal. The bakery my mother claimed to like Brittany dominated the table conversation as usual. About her new pottery pastime while I updated her on a significant marketing campaign I was leading. We proceeded to the living area for coffee and received distracted nods. My father cleared his throat as he often did before announcements. "We have some news," he remarked, beaming. My mother squeezed Brittany's hand as she was jumping with enthusiasm. "Jeremy will move in with us." I blinked, trying to digest this. "Their apartment contract is expiring," my mother said, "and this house is too huge for only your father." Jeremy said it made financial sense, but I observed he financially smart. Could not meet my eyes. I nodded slowly. "I saw, and the mortgage, I guess. They'll help since I'm still paying full price." An awkward silence descended over the room. My father shifted in his seat as my mother became interested in her coffee cup. Finally, my father. "We thought that since you're doing so well with your job in the city, Brittany and Jeremy needed it." "What your father is trying to say," my mother interrupted, "is that Brittany deserves. She's always loved this mansion, but you don't need it in the city." Words hit me like a punch. Deserves the house. I paid the mortgage for 2 years. That's over. I contributed $130,000 to Brittany's house. Miranda. Brittany rolled her eyes. "You don't need to be theatrical. Have the money. Besides, Mom and Dad always wanted me to own the house, right?" Directly at my parents. Neither looked at me, which was enough. I whispered, collecting my handbag, "You always do this." Brittany accused. "When things go wrong, you leave instead of supporting the family." I paused. I'd been financially supporting the family, but I'm wondering if that was a mistake. I cried on Daniel's shoulder that night. Years of frustration and pain, they don't notice it. I cried. "If you think Brittany deserves everything without effort, stop enabling her." I cried. Daniel gently advised me to avoid family calls for a week. My mother texted me to see whether I was still furious and to maintain family unity. "Needed sacrifices from everyone," I answered quickly, processing the obvious unfairness of the situation. The morning that changed everything. I was getting ready for work when my mother texted me. "We updated all the front door and gate locks. Code Brittany saw you driving past the house last night and no longer trusts you. Felt threatened. Please accept our judgment." I wasn't near the house. The accusation was complete. Made an obvious reason for their decision. My hands shook as I read the message again. I contacted Samantha immediately. "Changed the locks," I replied when she answered. "They're locking me out of my paid-for house because..." Samantha said Brittany lied about my threats. Ultimatum. Miranda, stop being a doormat for these people. A part of me knew the answer. Cancel payments. Payments, she responded without hesitation. "They can't keep you out of a house and expect you to pay." Crazy. After we hung up, I sat on my bed thinking about the consequences. Stopped paying. The bank would foreclose. My parents couldn't afford the mortgage, and even Brittany and Jeremy's entitlement. I knew they couldn't get so big a loan. The family home may be lost. Wasn't it already lost to me? They said I had no claim to it despite my financial contributions. I entered my online banking account with shaky hands and went to the automatic. Hands shaking. My finger hovered over the mouse as I discovered the mortgage recurring transfer setup. This one click changed my mind about all the sacrifices I made to keep up those payments. The untaken vacations, the apartment I couldn't afford, retirement funds I had delayed. I remembered my sister's haughty look when she said she deserved the house. Click cancel payment. A confirmation dialog box opened. I hit OK. Next, I emailed the bank to cancel all future automatic payments for the mortgage loan. I stated that I was not a co-owner and would no longer pay others' behalf. I turned off my phone and called in sick after sending the email. I felt sick to my stomach but needed a day to comprehend what I did and prepare for the fallout. It took a day to process. I was weirdly emancipated for the first time in 2 years, choosing myself above my family's demands. It was terrifying and exciting. Was wise to reply to my mother's text, but I think you neglected one thing. I didn't clarify. I let it go. The consequences are obvious. For 48 hours after canceling, my family was silent during the mortgage payment, so I knew they hadn't comprehended what I'd done. Mortgage payment was still several days distant. They were presumably applauding themselves on how well their strategy had gone. Presuming I had accepted their decision without objection, I used this time to strengthen emotionally. I saw Dr. Emily Watson, a therapist. Helped me realize my reaction was healthy and justified. When you describe a familial trend. Phone blasted with notifications. Dynamics where you're the provider without recognition or reciprocity. She mentioned in our first session that setting challenging limits is crucial for mental health. The third day my phone flooded with notifications. It had started. Brittany Miranda left a voicemail asking why the bank called. Regarding a missed payment. What type of game are you playing? You're always jealous of mine. Me back ASAP. Miranda, my father, texted. Improper actions. You owe this family. Call your mother now, sweetheart. My mother's message was more deliberate. May have been a mistake. We replaced the locks for security following some break-ins in the neighborhood. You're welcome. You're our daughter. Call regarding this bank issue. Obvious fib made me chuckle cruelly. Their area had no break-ins and the timing instantly. After stating they no longer trusted me was too convenient to be coincidence. I received over 30 calls and hundreds more texts by week's end as I maintained silent. They escalated. Accidentally sent screenshots of discussions concerning me. Extended family discussions portraying me as selfish and unstable. Extended families reach out. Some members expressed concern, others lectured me on family obligation. You can't just abandon your parents. Need your help as they age, Aunt Martha wrote. Cousin Thomas was more. Everyone knows you make decent money, so why are you so picky? Family helps family only. My father's sister Aunt Catherine questioned the narrative. Miranda, I'm neutral but something doesn't add up. Can we? The continuous accusations and guilt trips took its toll, she texted. I had difficulty sleeping, waking up at 3 a.m. with a beating heart. My appetite evaporated. I lost 7 pounds in 2 weeks at work. I had trouble focusing on projects. Had inspired me. Daniel became my rock during this time. Come with groceries, softly pushing me to eat. He comforted me throughout panic attacks and reminded me of legality of my decision when doubts arose. He insists you didn't forsake them. They locked you out of a residence. Meet Aunt Catherine. You paid for. Anyone would have done the same thing. 3 weeks after canceling, I agreed to meet with Aunt Catherine for coffee. Unlike the rest of the family, she had always treated others fairly. Brittany and I wanted to hear your side after ordering because I showed her the lock-changing text message and it doesn't make sense. Recounted everything, even my years of mortgage payments. Aunt Catherine sighed deeply. I suspected something like this. Brittany has been telling your parents for months that you're mad at her because you've been talking about stealing the house. I never said that. Anything like that? She nodded. Brittany is compelling. Miranda and Jeremy are struggling financially after months of unemployment. I guess the house was their safety net and you the impediment. I was reeling after learning that I had unwittingly supported my parents financially. The brazenness was astounding. The bank funds a plan to expel me from the family. First formal notification of missing payment. My mother sent it to me with one line. Please fix this, Miranda. Even now they weren't audacious, acknowledging their mistake or apologizing. They just wanted me to pay again. Their betrayal I originally considered permanent. I shared my family's estrangement with Dr. Watson in our weekly sessions. She warned that estrangement is an important stage. Respect is essential for healthy relationships. Sometimes distance is the only option. Protecting oneself. As time went on, my resolve grew. Daniel helped me overcome self-doubt. He said they're banking on you feeling guilty. They've trained you. Breaking that pattern is hard yet vital. He was right. With each manipulation attempt, with each persuasion attempt and unwillingness to admit responsibility, my family confirmed that I had made the correct choice. The mortgage payment was our last link, and cutting it off, I saw how terrible our relationship was still in. In quiet moments, I would look at images from brighter times and wonder how we got here. As the bank's second warning arrived and my family's, as tactics became more desperate, reconciliation required changes they weren't ready for. Willing to pay the mortgage 2 weeks after I can. Increased substantially. Aunt Catherine said the bank sent an official default warning to the resident's address. Had become my primary source of family knowledge. The letter panicked my parents. They really wouldn't go through with it, she told me during one of our frequent calls your father kept. And Brittany? Saying you would change your mind and pay again. And Brittany? Asked, though I knew the answer. Brittany and Jeremy are in crisis mode. They apply for a mortgage themselves yet have bad credit, multiple rejections. They can't qualify for anything close to what they require. Slightly satisfied by this news. Had avoided was finally catching up to them. My mother initiated reconciliation. Though her message showed she didn't understand the core issue. Miranda, sweetheart, I think this has. She didn't grasp the basics. Everything out of hand. Her voicemail began. I know you're annoyed about the locks, but Brittany suggested it. Concerned about suspicious activity? We can provide you the updated code. Please contact us regarding the financing. No mention of giving Brittany the house. They took 2 years of mortgage payments from me in a clear attempt to gain money. Flowing again. My father was less subtle. His call arrived on Tuesday night as I. This went too far, Daniel, Miranda barked when I answered. You have a obligation to this family. Your mother is panicking. The bank is issuing harassing letters. Really how you want it, Dad? You changed my locks. Reacted quietly. You texted that you no longer trusted me. Why continue? Paying for a house I can't enter was a misunderstanding. Brittany thought she spotted someone. We were careful since someone looking like you drove by many times. I stated we both know that's not true, yet you told me nonetheless. Even though I paid over $130,000 for the mortgage, Brittany deserves the house. Your gift to the family can't be taken back. His voice rose. You're jealous of your sister, so I hung up. Shivering with wrath. My sacrifice was a gift, not an obligation. Investment in our family home, a present they could accept, not a contribution that gave me rights or standing. Even Brittany's husband Jeremy tried to intervene. He called from a unknown number, trying to position himself as sensible. Miranda, I know you're disappointed since he started well, but we can work together. Perhaps you could continue paying for 6 months until Brittany and I get back on our feet. Consider repaying you over time. The arrogance was nearly astounding. I was still just a source of income for them, not a person with valid complaints. To protect myself legally, I met with Amanda Chin, a family law attorney. Recommended. Dr. Watson says you have no legal obligation to keep making these payments. Amanda validated after evaluating my proof. Your parents own the mortgage. You've been. Amanda confirmed after analyzing my documents. Asking if they could sue me for ceasing voluntary donations. Deepest fear they could try, but have a weak case. Do you have any documentation proving these payments were loans, not gifts? I took out my phone and I showed her my text messages with my parents when I started paying. In one crucial message, Father wrote, "We'll repay you for assistance with the mortgage until we recover." Somehow. This is fantastic, Amanda nodded. Proves the arrangement was. I also propose publishing temporarily and expecting reciprocity. Out all your bank statements documenting these payments and other housing and property correspondence. Contributions. With legal reassurance, I met with a financial consultant to assess my improved finances. Now that I'm not paying my family's mortgage, you could save at this rate. Have a home down payment within 6 months, he told me, reviewing the predictions. Redirecting your mortgage payment to your investments will make a difference. Huge financial future change. For the first time since this journey began, I saw a light. Future enthusiasm. My home, investment, and free life. I instantly banned Mark's number. The continual drain of sustaining unappreciative people. The bank's deadline increased the family's despair. Approached my aunt. Told me my parents tried to access my internet banking information, sparking a scam. Notice my bank spotted in time. They're desperate. Catherine alerted Diane. I quickly blocked Mark's request to speak sense into you because he's aggressive. Number. Amanda suggested blocking all but one family member. Aunt Catherine's insight. I still trusted the situation worsened. Darker turn when Brittany called my boss with my contact information and lied about me. Require help due to mental collapse. Luckily, my work record spoke for itself and my supervisor cared more about my health than my skills. Your sister, he casually said during our monthly one-on-one. She seemed intense. Is everything okay, Miranda? I sterilized the family problems so it wouldn't disturb me. Work performance. He nodded sympathetically. Family is complicated, take your time. And his simple generosity nearly moved me to tears. Why couldn't we help? My family has this degree of politeness. The bank's final warning letter arrived 30 days after first missing payment. Aunt Catherine said my mother broke down, crying for about an hour while my father shouted. Brittany and Jeremy started apartment hunting unexpectedly. Faced with though their scheme had failed horribly, Daniel remained my faithful supporter. Move in with me, he said one evening while we discussed the matter. Your lease expires next month. One evening, he proposed. Anyway, and save you money while increasing your down payment. The proposition was attractive financially and otherwise. Emotionally, his frequent presence as a buffer against my family's instability felt perfect. Are you sure we're ready for that? I questioned after nearly 3 years of dating. I've never been more ready. Surely, he took my hands. I adore Miranda. I want to construct a life with you where you're recognized and respected. I agreed, feeling like sections of my life. Next day, an email arrived. New life was emerging as the old one being disassembled. The next day, an email received that started the final act of this family play. The email arrived on a Thursday afternoon during a conference. When I checked my phone during a break, the subject line quickly struck my attention. Urgent family financial crisis. Sender was Richard Thompson, a lawyer I faintly knew as my father's old golf mate, sent a brief message. Panicked Miranda. Foster Gregory and Diane hired me. Foster, about the mortgage. We have an urgent issue. Please call me immediately to explore resolution possibilities before this escalates. I shared the email to Amanda.